War, Love, Meow. Chapter 5. Trey awoke in warmth. The rising and falling of the female body pressed against his own as she slept. He wished he could cherish her forever. He wished he could share his life with a female Meowie. He wished he was allowed to love. But he refused to let a Republican female tie him down. It's not like the Republic would allow a savage to raise children anyways. It was time for him to head east and find his two Meowhicon brothers. He couldn't stand the presence of the pretentious Republican Meowies any longer. Out past the river, in the buffer zone, only Republic military Meowies roamed, on guard for centaurs. There, he could live free from the suspicious eyes of Republican commoners. He began his travel east, enjoying the shade of the forest. The birds, bugs, and other small creatures that lived in and under the trees turned on his senses with their burst of noises from different directions. But nothing compared to the open prairies of the east. He'd take long grass, brushing past his body, over padding through twigs and leaves any day. After walking less than an hour, three Meowies casually strolled in front of his path. What do these Republicans want? Trey approached the Meowies. One cocked its head back to look down his nose at Trey. "Savage! Saw you at the Parliament session this morning. Was that dragonfly tasty?" Trey moved to walk around them. "Sure was." They maneuvered to block his path. "That was a Republican dragonfly. Savages must pay a food toll." All three revealed their sharp teeth and hissed. Trey lowered his ears and showed his fangs. He lifted his paw in the air and hissed back. "I don't see your slave master fairies around. Get out of the way, or I'll make a way for blood to spill from your throats." "Enough talk, savage!" The three Meowies attacked. A small gray one swiped towards Trey's face. He easily dodged. The largest of the bunch, thick and black with long whiskers, leapt at Trey like he was a helpless mouse. The paws were easily parried as Trey stepped to the side and feigned a strike at the gray one again, forcing it to flinch back. The third, a black and white Meowie, circled outside of the fight, flashing strikes with its long arms. Trey easily evaded its claws while focusing on the close-range assaults of the other two. What fools. They can't keep this intensity for long. Trey let them continue their attack while he parried their paws with his own and dodged their bites. Soon their lunges became sluggish and Trey went on the offensive. He slashed the small Meowie across the face, leaving deep gouges. On the big one, Trey flashed his claws and drew a bloody T across the whining Meowie's side. The third charged Trey from behind, but Trey leapt over the rear attacker and slammed down on top of him, pinning him to the ground. The Meowhican sunk his teeth into its right ear and growled as he jerked his head away, tearing the ear off. Trey spit the flesh on the ground and backed away from his opponents. He enjoyed the shocked faces and pain in their Republican eyes. He pranced away. "Good day, gents." Then their fairies arrived. The three fairies dripped in sweat and breathed heavily from a hard sprint through the forest. They landed on their Meowies, and each Meowie glowed with magic. Their wounds still leaked, but now the fight would no longer be Meowie versus Meowie. It transformed into a fight of magic versus natural brawn. And still 3 against 1. Trey refused to back down against these mutated fools. He showed no fear and waited for their next attack. The three Meowies slowly stepped forward, hissing as they walked. The fairies narrowed their eyes and clenched their jaws. Trey knew the magic harmonizing Meowie and fairy affected both their brains. It created love between them. No, something stronger than love. Something unnatural. Those fairies would fight to the death to defend their Meowies. Trey knew, because he had been harmonized with the fairy his whole life, but she knew not to come near him. Ever. He would never lower himself to immoral Republican ways. A small Meowie emerged from behind the attackers. "Trey! The Prime Minister needs you immediately!" A look of trepidation flashed across his opponents' faces. They glanced back at the small Meowie, one of Scratcher's personal servants. None dared interfere with her work. The three darted into the forest. Trey followed the little messenger through the woods, up a small forested hill. Through the trees, he watched Scratcher, LMA, and Bibby chase and bat at a leaf held by one of the humans. As Trey came close, his instincts took over and he leapt at the leaf himself, with his paws thrashing in the air. All misses. The leaf came back down in striking range. He dove at the leaf paws first, but the human pulled it out of the way. Trey followed the dancing leaf with his eyes until... Jump! The human lifted the leaf even higher and laughed playfully before tossing it to the ground. Trey jumped and caught it in his mouth. He gnawed on it aggressively, then got bored and looked to the Prime Minister. Prime Minister Scratcher? Good evening, Trey. You saw the other space traveler at the Parliament proceeding this morning, correct? Trey nodded. Scratcher continued. Good. She has gone east following a gold fox. I want you and your brethren to track her. See what she's up to. Stop her from doing anything that would endanger Meowie kind. Trey nodded and left immediately. Another mission for her tribal slave. At least this one sounds interesting. Viet scratched Scratcher behind the ear. Her short fur was soft, but not the softest. Thank you, Prime Minister Scratcher, for sending my sister help. I owe you big time, kitty. Scratcher bent her neck at the pleasure of his fingers digging into her skin. You are in my debt for not killing you. I sent Trey to your sister for my people's protection. Now, as you tell the story, the foxes appear to disagree on what to do with you humans. This changes things. If the foxes agreed, then no Meowie should slow down their plans. But they don't. So I must take action to defend my people. Soldiers! The meshing of chainmail sounded from all sides of the forest. 10 muscular Meowies wearing armor emerged. Viet opened his mouth and put a hand on his cheek. Oh my goodness! These little guys are adorable with their little armor! Fabulous, precious little warriors! He bent down and scratched one through its ear hole. Yes! You are so cute! Yes, you are! Yeah! Scratcher flipped her tail back and forth as she stared at Viet. These adorable Meowies are here to kill you if you disobey my command, Offworlder! Viet stamped a foot and shoved his hand straight down. But Prime Minister! Unfair! Quiet! You will go west to your crash. I already have Meowies there pulling your craft out of the river. You will teach my wise Meowies everything we can learn about this craft and its technologies. If you prove useful, I will let you live. Leave now! Whatever, Pussy Meowie. Viet walked off with his Meowie guards west. Bibi and Elame followed. Elame padded beside him. Don't worry, Viet. Bibi and I will tell Meowlery Clawton. She will do everything she can to keep the heat on Scratcher in Parliament. Maybe Clawton can use this in the next election if Scratcher appears too cruel to our guest from another planet. Viet nodded at Elame before she and Bibi pranced away. I'll go along with that witch's orders for now. Having ludicrously cute Meowies guard me wearing little night outfits brings me too much pleasure to complain much at the moment. And how can I worry about anything when in the serene beauty of this planet? He scanned the forest trees as a bird chirped in the distance. Deep down, Viet was worried. A voice said, You are weak, Viet. Weak like you've always been. You've simply traded one bully for another, and these bullies may be the ones that finally take full advantage of your vulnerability, ending your fragile life, and that of your sister.